Welcome back to the channel, fellow aviators. Now today we're going to be talking about 5 aircraft that Gaijin could add to the game. Now make sure to subscribe to the channel because every subscription does help, and we are on our way to 50,000 subscribers. Also make sure to join the Discord down below because we do use pilots in there for future videos. Now today's going to be kind of restricted towards Warsaw aircraft, but we will have some NATO aircraft in this video as well, so I really hope you guys enjoy this. And go and tell me in the comments down below which aircraft do you think Gaijin should add to the game, or which aircraft do you think that are overdue to be added to the game. For example, the F-105 should have been added before the Phantom in my opinion, so tell me what aircraft that the game should have currently that we do not have. A good example of this would probably be the Foxbat. That's a jet that should be in the game, yet we still have not seen anything to do with it. Anyway, let's get into this list. So for our first pick, we have the F-111A. Now this is a pretty unique aircraft that a lot of people have been asking for. I've seen it in my comments multiple times. It's a very good aircraft. Plus it's got that cool fire feature where the back where you dump fuel out and creates like a cool fire effect. I hope Gaijin adds that. They better add that. Is it useless? Kinda. But it can introduce fuel dumping, and I feel like this is a feature Gaijin really needs in the game right now, because I could bring a full tank, and let's say I get into a dogfight, I just dump a little fuel, bam, I'm a little more maneuverable. So this could introduce fuel dumping to the game, which I feel like would be very cool, and I would love to see it. But a little brief history of this aircraft, what it's about. Basically, it's a fighter bomber aircraft developed by General Dynamics. It was the first production model of the F-111 series and entered service with the United States Air Force in 1967, I believe. The F-111A was designed as a long-range interdictor capable of delivering a variety of weapons in all-weather conditions. It also had terrain-following radar, so you could pop that bad boy on and the jet will automatically follow terrain without hitting mountains and stuff. So this thing's got some pretty advanced radar, pretty advanced mechanics. It could also carry GBUs, of course, and I feel like this would be a great vehicle to add to the US tech tree because we're kind of lacking in a good CAS aircraft. Yes, of course we have the F-16, but it doesn't have thermals or T-pods or GBUs and that sort of deal. So this feels like it'd be a good fit because it could go Mach 1, it could go fast, it could get to altitude, drop bombs, and get out. It could also do low flying missions and get in and get out, and I feel like that'd be super awesome. And the first model I believe they're going to introduce is the F-111A because, well, it's the earliest model and it makes sense. But this is a jet that should be in the game already if we're being honest. But yeah, this is our number 5 pick. Let's move on. Now we have the JH7 for our number 4 spot. Now this thing carried a lot of stuff. It carried the PL5s, the PL8s, the PL9s, the PL12s. Various anti-ship missiles, very anti-ground missiles. It also carried anti-radiation missiles, so that'd be pretty neat, unique to add, especially for the Chinese Air Force. I feel like there's not a lot of jets they'll get. I mean, there's a couple that will be able to carry the anti-radiation missiles, but it's a neat way to introduce them. And this bird reminds me of the Foxbat. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a bomber. And again, this thing is mostly made for anti-ground operations in terms of like ships and SAMs and all that sort of deal. But it can carry air-to-air missiles, so you could strap a couple missiles on this. Of course, use the initial production model, which is the early model, the A, if you will, although they only refer to it as the JH7. So the early production models, I feel like if they add that to the game, maybe with a limited payload, it'd be pretty balanced, and it'd give the Chinese something to bomb with since this does carry T-pods. And it's just an overall very cool fighter, and you don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It just reminds you of the Foxbat or the Foxhound so much. It just, I don't know, the way it looks, it's got those 2 big fat engines and can carry some beefy missiles. But yeah, this goes to our number 4 spot because I feel like it'd be a great addition to the game. Now for our number 3 or third, or should I say Thresh spot, the MiG25 PD, or should I say Pulse Dribbler. Alright, I'll stop, I promise. Now this aircraft is a pretty cool aircraft that I think should have been added to the game a while ago, like maybe right after the MiG-21 BIS perhaps, or maybe even after the Flogger. But basically, this is a MiG25 with pulse Doppler. And the reason I say add this version is because the first version does not have pulse Doppler, and that's just going to screw it over. Now, this reporting name is the Foxbat E, which was a variant the Soviet Union made as a high-altitude interceptor capable of, basically shooting down blackbirds. Now, this variant was focused. My bad, I can't speak right now. So this version was basically created to carry the R-40 missiles and the R-60s, and it could reach speeds of around Mach 5, so this thing could go pretty darn fast. It also had better radar, better range. It was just a far better Foxbat than the earlier models. And this one did, of course, have pulse Doppler. That's kind of why it's named PD. And I believe this would be a great variant to add because, one, if we add the early variant which did not have pulse Doppler, that would cause a big problem, right? Especially in our current meta. Now, I don't know where you would put this. Maybe 11.0? Maybe, perhaps, because it does carry R-40 missiles, and those are pretty darn good, and it carries R-60s as well, but the bird can't turn that well, right? The US thought this thing was going to be the best dogfighter in the world, and it scared them into making the F-15. But when in reality, it really wasn't that good at dogfighting. But it's really good at interception, though, because this thing could go fast. One problem, though, please, Gaijin. Alright, come on, look. The jet ate itself, basically. At high speeds, the jet's engine would eat itself. So, Gaijin, are you going to add that? If we're at a high altitude or we're going too fast, is the engine going to eat itself? We'll see. But that'd be cool. That'd be a pretty cool feature Gaijin should add. Anyway, let's go to the next jet. And for our second spot, we have the Foxhound, the MiG-31. Look at this bad boy. Now, we're talking about the first variant of this aircraft, which entered service in, I believe, 1982. And this carried the R-33, R-40, the R-60s, the R-73s, the R-37, the R-77, the KH-58 anti-radiation missile, and the KH-47 M2 Kenzal hypersonics air-launched ballistic missile. Now that's a lot. That's kind of a lot. This carried a good amount of weapons. And is currently in service right now. So, maybe not this variant. I believe the first variant is out of service, but the M is definitely in service. But today we're talking about the first variant, and this bad boy is a pretty darn fast aircraft. Now, it's similar to the Foxbat. It's just not quite the Foxbat, am I right? It's like a modernized Foxbat, and then of course they made the M, which is a modernized Foxhound. So this would just be the next step after the Foxbat, right? Or Gaijin could add it to be just like, hey, you know what? Screw it. We're going to add this instead of the Foxbat. And they've been known to do that with certain aircraft before. They'll add the later variant of it down the line and just screw the older variant, right? Gaijin has done this in the past. So this is a potential contender to take the spot for the MiG-25. And honestly, I would be sad if that happened because I kind of want the MiG-25 in the game. But, we'll see what Gaijin does. But basically, this thing's a very fast aircraft, and it can climb to very, very high altitudes. But it cannot turn as well. So that will be its main cripple, I guess. But other than that, I feel like this is going to be a fun aircraft to add to the game. Because, one, it's super fast, and it carries a lot more modern missiles. Even though it can't turn, it makes up for it with its radar and its air-to-air capabilities. And last but not least, we have the J-10A. Now, when I was researching this aircraft a little bit, I realized that, one, there's a version of this that has a decreased RCS, so makes it more stealthy, of course. And two, there's a variant that has thrust vectoring, which I put in the background footage of this video. You could see it could do some crazy maneuvers. Now, this is the thrust vectoring variant. I'm going to talk about this in a later video. Today, we'll be talking about the J-10A, which carried, basic radar, basic missiles like the PL-10, the PL-8, the PL-12, and the PL-15, and a couple anti-radiation missiles, and that sort of deal, right? So this is a pretty darn good fighter. Maneuver's pretty good, even without the thrust vectoring. I think Gaijin could add it for China, especially if we get jets like the Flanker. I feel like if we had the Flanker, right? China should get their own aircraft as well. But I don't think they should get like a J-11 or something. I feel like they should get their own domestic built aircraft before we give them a flanker. So Russia gets their flanker first, right? You know, let Russia have their time or whatever, and then give the J-10 to China at the same time. But tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. But tell me in the comments down below which aircraft you guys would like to see, or which aircraft are long overdue, like the Foxbat or maybe even the Foxhound. But yeah, no, this is a really good video. I liked researching these aircraft, especially the J-10. I don't know too much about that aircraft, but looking into it, it seems like a pretty unique copy-paste of the Eurofighter. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and take care, guys. Have a nice day.